it's Silje, and I hope you all are having a wonderful day. Today I will do a tag, and I have been down with a cold for the past week. That is, well, it's bug season here, and I am a huge hugger, so of course I always get a cold. But that's the price for being a hugger, I guess. That means that I haven't been reading a lot of books this week, and I have been tagged to do a lot of very exciting tags, but they require a bit of preparation and a bit of thought. So I will be doing them later, and instead I will do a tag that doesn't require a lot of preparation, but I really enjoy the questions. And the tag is called Dilemmas of a Book Nerd. And this was created by Lindsay's Little Library, and I found it at Laurie's channel, and her channel name is Windsong Reads, and she is a pretty new booktuber to me, and I very much enjoy her content. So yeah, I will leave a link in the info box, so you need to check it out. As I said, I really enjoy these questions, and let's get started. The first is book storage. How do you store and organize your books? And I organize them, or I store them in shelves. I have most of my shelves here in the living room. I have those behind me, and I also have in the other end of the living room. I do have 2 book trolleys as well, filled with books. And I have my favorite childhood books up in the attic. I have this one, this orange one. This was my parents' shelf when they were living at campus in the 70s, hence the color. And I have this drawer that is made into a shelf on my wall, which contains my poetry collections and some of my poetry. And I may or may not have a Jenga tower in a chair on the opposite side of this room. So yeah, that is my storage. My organization is a little bit chaotic at the moment. They go in where they fit, but at the same time I do try to have a little bit of system, like all my Penguin orange classics are together, my Penguin black classics are together, my modern classics, and also some of my favorite authors are grouped together. And yeah, but usually it is anarchy. If the book fits, it will stay. As long as I can find it, and I usually can. And number 2 is tracking. How do you keep track of what you have read and what books you own? I use Goodreads to keep track of the books that I am reading and that I have read. I also use this spreadsheet. For the books that I own, my tracking is my shelves. I remember all the books that I have, where I bought them and why I bought them, and that is enough for me. Number 3 is borrow. Do you lend your books out? And yes, I usually do that. Not to everyone, but to people that I trust and that I know likes books. And yeah, it can take a while for me to get the books back. This book, for example, I got it back after 2 years, but I got a really sweet note as well. Number 4 is buying. How do you buy or acquire your books? And one of my favorite things is to visit used bookshops or independent bookshops, and just browsing the shelves and flipping through books and just being with all these books. And that is something that I do quite a bit when I'm out traveling or when I'm visiting bigger cities in Norway. Around here there is none independent bookshops, nor is there any used bookshops, so I don't usually find the books that I want in the chain bookshops. So when I'm home, I'm using Book Depository. Number 5 is comments. How do you respond to the "how do you read so much" comment or similar comments? I'm not a very fast reader at all, so I don't get that question. Number 6 is next book. How do you pick your next read? And I am a mood reader, a squirrel, so I am following my whim and my mood and picking the book that I want to read in that moment. Sometimes I am binging a certain genre. Sometimes I am urging something completely different, but I try to follow my whim. The only exceptions are when I'm doing buddy reads. I am sticking to the books we have decided to read, and also when I am joining in on readathons. But at the same time, I am not very good at sticking to TBRs. It will always end with failure, so I try to not participate that much in those. Number 7 is travel. How do you pick what books you bring on vacation with you? And one thing is for sure, I'm always bringing with me too many books. I'm always bringing with me the book that I'm currently reading, and I'm also bringing with me a book if I think that I will finish my current reads before I am getting to my destination. I need another book to read, and at the same time I am usually picking 3 or 4 other books that I might want to read while I'm away, and that is completely silly because I am always visiting places with a lot of bookshops, and I am always visiting the bookshops, and I'm always buying a lot of books, so I don't need to bring with me 5 books and then buy 10 books. My suitcases are always so heavy when I'm returning home. So I need to stop doing that and just bring with me 1 book, my current read. Number 8 is Annotate. Do you write or highlight or mark up your books in any way? And yes, I do. I prefer to read with a pen, and I love to annotate. For me, when I'm annotating, I am having this conversation with the text while I'm reading, and for me, this is a way to enhance my reading experience. I'm also highlighting and also underlining passages or sentences and quotes, and yeah. Another thing that I really enjoy is when I'm finding a used book with a lot of notes, because then I get a glimpse into the previous owner's thoughts while reading the book, and I think that is very fascinating. And this is also the main reason why I'm only reading on paper as well. Number 9 is new or backlist. Which do you prefer, new releases or backlist books? And I do think I prefer backlist books. As I said, I'm a mood reader and I have a lot of books that I would like to read. And I do find it quite stressful to keep up with all the new releases. But at the same time, I do read them as well, but mostly backlist books. The last question is sequels. Do you read books as they are released or wait for an entire series to be published before reading the first book? And I do read books in a series as they are released, but as I am a backlist reader, there are usually a couple of books that is already out there, so I will read them first and then I will wait for the next one to be released. And yeah, and that was all the questions. I do have quite a few people that I would like to tag, and I'm pretty sure that some of them has already been tagged, but none of them has done it yet, so I think it's okay to do a double tag or double tagging. And the first I would like to tag is Mark from Mark Nash, and Pauline from Dancing Lawn, Sandra from Pulling Down the Moon, Tanya, and Sophie from Redhead Reading, Sarah from Hardcover Hearts, Amy from The Dusty Bookshelf, Angie from Literary Labors, Doris from Oldie Books, Elizabeth from Bookish North, and Sean and Bert from Shawnee Reads. And yeah, that was my answers. I will be back as soon as possible with some books that I've read. Hopefully I will be reading more next week. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, ha det!